This is the last part for this topic. It's on storage and inventory. So we have gone through purchasing, we have gone to receiving. Now is the part where you store and you store your food product. So why is it storage and inventory is important? It's because of food items are non-performing assets until they are sold. So here it means that anything that you purchase, as long as you don't sell it, then you do not get sales. Okay, you might not get the profit that you desired. And if you do not store your food properly, your food item might deteriorate, they might become expired, and you are not able to sell that food item. So that's why it is said it is a non-performing assets. Okay, once they are already used in production, you are able to sell it, then you can get the sales and the profit that you desired. So what are the considerations for receiving and storage areas? So there are 6. The first one is on straight line from receiving to storeroom. So why is it important for you to have a straight line from receiving to storeroom? Is because you want it to be easily accessed. Easily accessed means that from the receiving area, you can directly store it to the storage area. You do not have to go to a different level to store your food items or somewhere far from the receiving area. And then it is preferably on the same level as the kitchen. Okay. The third one, adequate space for dry, refrigerator and freezer. You must make sure that if you are to order in a large quantities, you actually have that space to store the delivered products. Locations are convenient to receiving and preparation areas, means that it is easily accessible from receiving and also easily accessible for the people in the production area. Number 5, temperature and humidity controls. Have to make sure that you have the right temperature and humidity in the storage areas, because food, if it's too hot in the storage, for example in the dry storage areas, it can actually deteriorate fast. And if it's too cold or damp, you might encourage the growth of mold in certain food items like flour, for example. And also the storage times. Make sure that you have a system where you use a FIFO system, which is a first in, first out system, whereby the older food products, you will use it first, and the recent food products, you will use it later on. So next we move on to inventory records and control. So what are the issues in storeroom? Okay. So first we look into what is issuing. So issuing is actually a process used to requisite items from storage for kitchen areas or units in food service operation. It means that you have a storage, so how are you going to use, or how are you going to take a particular food product to be used in the production area? So it will differ in terms of the size of the operation. For example, in a smaller operation, normally they would purchase a food item and then they will use it directly. It goes straight into the production. But then if it's a larger operation, normally they would have a storeroom, storage area whereby you have a person in charge of that room, and they will only issue the food item if it is being requested. So control of goods cannot be effective unless storeroom kept locked and authority and control over merchandise are delegated to one person. So here you have to have one delegated person who will be in charge of the storeroom. So he is the one who will issue a food product every time another staff requests from him. Food or supplies removed from storeroom with authorization, usually in the form of return requisition. So how staff can actually request for the food items is normally by giving a form in the form of a return requisition to the storeroom personnel. There are 2 types of inventory, which is a perpetual inventory and a physical inventory. So this is to calculate how many stocks are left in the inventory. Also to make sure that the production matches with the food items that are being taken out from the storage area. So in a perpetual inventory, they will use a bin card. In a bin card, you can see that at certain date, how many items are being stored, and at certain dates, how many items are being taken out. So from that figure, you can determine how many items are being left, and you can also determine when is your next purchase. So in terms of physical inventory, it is whereby they will do it not as often as perpetual inventory in terms of calculation, but physical inventory is whereby they will calculate each and every item in the storage. So this can be used to match whether it matches the perpetual inventory record. So that is the end for this topic. Thank you.